Bata Manga.
The incident happened on my way home from the hospital. I picked up my medication at the prescription pharmacy and then went outside. Then, a woman who was a short distance away came pedaling toward me on a bicycle, and at a very fast speed. Oh no, I'm gonna get hit! As that went through my mind, the woman snatched the bag of pills I was holding in my hand. I was so startled by the suddenness of that event that I stood there stunned. The culprit was a mother with a child on the back of her bicycle who looked about 5 years old. I didn't bother to chase them down to get it back because it wasn't like they stole my valuables. Why would she steal medicine? I thought that as I watched the thief of a mom leave. The boy on the bike was wearing a mask, so I wondered if she was going to give it to him for his cold. Oh, wait! That... I quickly shouted, but the mom disappeared in a flash. Oh no, those pills! Yes, inside were antidepressants and sleeping pills. I was at home just a year ago, caring for my 78-year-old grandmother. My grandmother developed an illness that caused her muscles to become painfully stiff and gradually lose movement throughout her body, and the hospital told her she would not live much longer. My grandmother wanted to stay at home as long as possible until her body became immobile. I thought it would take some time, so although I was working in a caregiving field at that time, I took a leave of absence saying, "I'll take care of her." I was a certified nutritionist and was thought to be a master of nursing home meals, but in reality was not so sweet. My grandmother would wake me in the middle of the night when her muscles ached. "Oh, my legs hurt and I need a massage." So I'd massage where she told me to, but she lost the sense of feeling since her muscles were already hardened, and even when I was moving my hands properly, "Hurry up and massage it! Why are you just standing there?" she would get angry. I could tell she was frustrated because she couldn't move her body as much as she wanted to, and I knew she was anxious. But no matter how hard I tried to care for her, I can't wait to die. I don't want to live anymore. She would always say things like that in front of me, and the next thing I knew, I was in an ambulance after taking a lot of sleeping pills. I was diagnosed with depression and was hospitalized for 3 months in a psych ward. Subsequently, my grandmother died. Still haunted by the trauma of that time, I continued to take medication long after I was discharged from the hospital. And today, as usual, I went to the hospital to see the doctor and picked up my medication, but as I was leaving the pharmacy, they were stolen. The problem is that the bag was stolen only contained the medication. The form with the medication details were in that bag along with my medication book. I always wear a mask when I go to the hospital to protect myself from germs. So if they stole them thinking I had a cold with my mask on, I hope she wouldn't give it to her kid thinking they're cold medicines. The antidepressant I was taking at that time was highly effective, but was prone to side effects and could cause a dry mouth, lightheadedness, and a strong risk of cardiovascular effects. I was really worried because it would be dangerous if they actually took it, so I told the hospital and the pharmacy about it just in case. With the pharmacist,
I just hope they don't carelessly take it.
I was so stunned by this bizarre event that I forgot to go to the police and went home.
What are you waiting for? Hurry up and go to the police!
My mother told me to, so I went to the nearest police station and reported the theft. The next day, the thief mom was arrested without a hitch. To the prescription pharmacy.
My son fell ill because of this pharmacy. Give me compensation!
Apparently, a young mother came into the pharmacy and was screaming and making a lot of noise. The pharmacy asked for the mother for her name and the name of the medicine, and she said it was a cold remedy. But when she showed him what they actually were, the pharmacist immediately knew it. It was an antidepressant and a sleeping pill. The name of the medicine was also written in small letters on the back of the package, but the thief of a mom who thought it was a cold medicine gave it to her child without looking at the name. The name and the address were not registered as a patient, and since the pharmacy is near the clinic, the pharmacist usually recognizes the patient's face, but he had no recollection of the woman at all. The pharmacist thought of the worst and said,
We handle a lot of psychiatric drugs in particular. Taking them in the wrong dosage could be fatal.
He explained to her, and the mom started to get upset.
No! If you're going to prescribe a drug like that, make sure you put the instructions on it.
She began to rant.
It is our rule to tell you the contents of the instructions in front of you before we give you the medicine. So, there is no way we would give you the medicine without the instructions, or without enclosing them in the bag.
Although the pharmacist explained,
I told you it wasn't in there. You forgot to put it in a bag, didn't you?
but she wouldn't listen.
My son just fainted and collapsed. What are you going to do? Isn't that what you call professional negligence or something? Just give me the damn alimony.
She snapped and grabbed the pharmacist. The pharmacist asks the woman to calm down.
Calm down. Where is your child now? Is he in the hospital?
My mother's looking after him. It's too expensive to take him to the hospital. Hey, what did my son just get drugged with? Is he going to die?
Yet she frantically yells at the pharmacist.
I don't know how much he took, but you need to take your child to the hospital first.
So the pharmacist desperately tried to convince her. But the thief mom started going crazy, parading around and asking for alimony and compensation money. And finally,
murderer! You die instead!
She was so violent that the police were called. When questioned by the police during a subsequent interrogation, the mom confessed. She had often snatched from elderly people at other pharmacies in the past because she didn't want to waste money on medicine. It usually had a medicine information sheet with the bag, so she would give her father a medicine for high blood pressure, and she would take Loxonin when she had a headache to save money on medicine. This is the first time I snatched at this pharmacy, and although there was no form on it that said anything about the medicine, I thought it was cold medicine and gave it to my child who had a slight cold. He immediately became limp and drowsy and didn't wake up. No matter how hard I tried to wake him up, he wouldn't, so I thought I could get some compensation and came here. Is what she said. The pharmacy and the police contacted me, and the medicine she gave her child were indeed mine. I was told that her son woke up safely after that, and he had taken 2 sleeping pills and was sleeping soundly. It was the only relief for me that the child was okay. At first, I wasn't sure until the last minute whether I should report the theft because I thought the police would think it was just theft of medicine. But they had received reports from other people regarding the theft of medicine, so they readily accepted my report, assuming it was the same culprit.
Thanks to your report, they were arrested without incident.
And they were so glad that I have decided to report it. But even then, giving a child medicine, not knowing what it is terrifying. And the fact that she thought she could get alimony for something stolen is something else. I'm glad that the worst was over, but I can't help but feel sorry for the kid who was the biggest victim of this incident. It's been a few years since I got divorced. I know I wasn't mature enough, but at that time, this was the only way I could think of to get back at him. I was 36 years old when I married my husband, who was 3 years younger than me, and I was in a hurry because I was at the age where I felt like I had to get married. My partner of many years cheated on me and broke my heart, so I went on a blind date with my last hope. Then to my surprise, my current husband approached me. As for me, I thought there would be no more next time, so it didn't take long for the marriage to be finalized. My husband at the time was refreshingly handsome. He played rugby until his late 20s, a burly gymnast. macho, and cool. My husband was the eldest son, and there seemed to be a lot of pressure from his parents to get married. So, things proceeded quickly and we had a wedding at a big hotel. He was so kind in the beginning. He took care of every little thing during my pregnancy and took the initiative to help me with the housework.
Are you okay?
He took time off to be present during the birth and rubbed my back the whole time. And when the child was born, he was so moved he began to cry.
Thank you for giving birth.
And even thanked me. I thought I had a happy life that I could brag to everyone about, but that happiness didn't last long. It was one evening when my child had just turned 1 year and 2 months old. The child was obviously acting strange. He was coughing in pain. At first, I thought it might be a cold, so I took his temperature, but he didn't have a fever. I decided to keep an eye on him for a while. But it quickly turned into a wheezing, breathing sound, and at the same time his lips turned purple and he lost consciousness. It was cyanosis. At the hospital, where he was rushed by the ambulance, the doctor told him he had severe childhood asthma. And then my husband's attitude changed the night he learned this fact.
You gave birth to such a frail child. That's the problem with old women like this. They have rotten amniotic fluid and can't give birth to good children. I shouldn't have married an old woman like you.
He told me. I couldn't believe my ears. Where did my old husband go? The reality in front of me must be a dream or an illusion. I was so shocked that I really thought so. Since then, my husband started coming home extremely late. Every day when he came home, he would reek of alcohol. My husband transformed into a cabaret and sex-obsessed maniac. And according to him,
I can't bring myself to do it with an old woman like you.
Meanwhile, I carried my child's problems all by myself and I was exhausted every day. But despite this, my husband would come home drunk in the middle of the night and frequently demanded for my body. And here I thought he wasn't interested in old women. I refused him because I was so tired.
You gotta be kidding me. Who do you think married an old hag like you?
He forced me to take off my clothes. I had no choice but to think about something else while doing it, since he could have beaten me if I refused. The saddest part is he would do it with no love, as he was satisfied after finishing on his own. When our kid was 2 years old, my husband would come home only at midnight most of the time, and often did not come home until morning. He will only come home to change clothes because he had work. And my husband's 100%, which has been foreshadowed for some time, escalated day by day. And when he came home after midnight, he suddenly woke me, and when I turned on the light, he was so furious.
The slippers weren't aligned.
This seemed to be the cause of the problem, as he brought the slippers inside and threw them at me. Ow!
A slipper can't hurt you. This is what it means to get hurt.
And then he hit me so hard my face got bruised. And when I made him coffee in the morning, he drank it in such a hurry that he burned his tongue.
You did that on purpose.
I didn't.
You're lying. You should feel how hot it was.
He poured that coffee all over me and I got a minor burn. Still, with a sick child and unable to get a job, I could not disobey my husband, who gave me a living wage. I had no choice but to accept it in silence. Then, one day my husband gave me my living expenses, but it was only 10,000 yen. What? That's it?
Huh? What do you mean, that's it?
He was already so furious.
All you do is stay at home, so that should be enough. Just keep the kid fed with your breasts.
And seeing my husband laughing as he headed off to work, I realized that I ran out of patience. I put down the divorce papers, packed my bags, and called my parents. I decided to get a divorce. My parents clamored for an explanation. I'll tell you more about it when I get back. I hung up the phone and went to my husband's room. I was not allowed to enter his room, but I went in and looked around. It was a world I didn't know. It was piled with dazzling designer items and porn-related goods. Now that I think about it calmly, I should have taken them and sold them to a second-hand shop as a consolation prize. I couldn't think of anything else at that time but to take revenge on the things my husband cherished. And then, although he wouldn't realize it right away, I thought of a way to take revenge that would eventually hurt him. First, I stretched the collars and cuffs of his designer sweaters that he kept in his drawers until they were completely deformed. I made an abomination of the embroidery of the logo that had been attached, trimming the embroidery thread on the back with scissors. The surface was reattached with water-based bond to barely keep the shape of the logo. It would be ruined once you take it to cleaners or wash it. I also cut the threads of the handles of some of the expensive bags, and the handles come off as soon as you put on a moderately heavy load in it and lift it up. And I also drew lines with a ballpoint pen between the striped patterns on shirts that he likes and wears often. I loosened about 3 centimeters of the seam under the armpit, so when he lifted his arm, there would be a gaping hole. Then I broke every other umbrella bone, which were all expensive designer products. Also, I switched the insides of every erotic movies he owned with Disney DVDs. I also cut off about 3 tassels from each scarf to make it look like a gap tooth, and I restitched one button on the coat with a single thread so it would come off easily. I filled the unopened erotic lotion with kitchen detergent by breaking the seal and putting it back in the box again. After those vendettas were over, I took my child and immediately left the house and headed to my parents and told them everything that had happened and showed them the medical certificates I had so far. My parents never liked the act of divorce to begin with, but seemed to change their minds when they heard about my condition. Well, I think the main reason they don't like it is probably for my child. Then my parents hired a lawyer and my husband was ordered to pay alimony and child support in a lump sum. At first,
You gotta be kidding.
he was so angry, but as expected, he couldn't win against the law and ended up paying me. By the way, 2 weeks later, I received countless phone calls from my husband. He probably realized what I did.
You gotta be kidding me. You know how much I've been embarrassed? You ruined my stuff. I'll never forgive you.
And received various other insults, but I blocked him after finding out how humiliated he was. Later, when my oldest son entered elementary school, I was able to start working just a few hours in the morning. At the time, my brother's family was living with my parents, so I couldn't stay at home forever, and I decided to live with my kid, despite both my parents and my brother telling me that I could live with them. By the way, after the divorce, I had a restraining order against my husband, so no matter how angry he got, he couldn't get near me. While I escaped from my husband's domestic violence and found a peaceful life, there was a part of me who wanted to take a close look at how my husband had gone down. Hi, I am Mariko. I live with my husband and my daughter who goes to kindergarten. I have 2 mom friends, Kikoku and Chiyo, who take their kids to the same school. The 3 of us who had kids prepared for entrance exams to famous elementary schools held regular tea and lunch gatherings under the guise of exchanging information. I wasn't interested though. The restaurants they always invited me to were overpriced, and I didn't want to pay a lot of money to go to a gathering I didn't enjoy. But if our kids pass the entrance exam, I'll continue to be friends with the moms who will be at the same elementary school. I thought I had to get along with them, so I was friendly with them only on the surface. It's dirty over here too. I have to clean it well. One day I was working part-time cleaning at a home improvement center when a familiar voice approached me, speaking in some loud voice. Oh, hi Mariko. Oh, Kikoku. Chiyo, hi. Hello, Mariko. Cleaning in a place like this? Wait, do you work part-time here? Yes, well... Your kid is about to take an entrance exam for a famous elementary school and you're working here? Ah, But we all need money, don't we? Kikoku, we can't tell her what to do. It's tough for Mariko too. Uh-huh. You're right. Looks like you're going through a hard time too. I'm sorry we made you attend those expensive teas and lunches. I'll be more considerate from now on. You don't have to come. They left the place, talking in whispers to each other. They weren't nice people to begin with, but I had a feeling they were very unpleasant. My instincts were right, and their behavior towards me became distant ever since, and they no longer invited me for tea or lunch. A few months later, I was invited to participate in a one-day family bus trip for a kindergarten event. There, I was treated badly by the mom friend in a way I will never forget. Oh, Mom, I spilled my juice. It's cold. Oh no. Why not have them stop at the next rest stop and get her to change clothes? I'm sure everyone would love to take a bathroom break. Yes, that would be great, thank you. I'll let the principal know that you will be a little late to get back on. Thank you. She's always been cold and distant, but I was grateful to Kikoku for this one time. When we arrived at the rest stop, I hurried to buy clothes for my daughter to change in. From there, we headed for the bus, but I couldn't find the bus we were on. So I called Kikoku. Hello, Kikoku? I can't find a bus. Where are you right now? Oh no, you took too much time, so the bus already left. What? But I came back as soon as I could. Still, there are limits. There's nothing we can do. You told the principal, didn't you? Of course I did. I see. Okay. Hey Mom, what's wrong? Well, I guess we got left behind. Left behind? Yes, honey. Let's take the train home. Train? Okay. We had no choice but to call a cab to take us to the nearest station and went home on a 4-hour train ride. My daughter fortunately seemed to enjoy the train ride, which was the only saving grace. Later that day, I called the principal. No matter the reason, on top of having everyone suddenly take the rest stop on the way. I missed the ride, so I had to apologize. Principal, I apologize for any inconvenience that I caused on the bus trip. Oh, it must have been tough for you. It was a surprise to hear your daughter got sick. I was so sorry to hear that you had to cancel your trip halfway through even though it was a great opportunity. And it was in the countryside, so it must have been hard to get home, right? I asked Kikoku so many times if it was really okay to send a bus. What? Is that so? I'm sorry for causing you worry. I was set up by my mom friend. The principal knew how difficult it would be to get home from there. She even checked with Kikoku until the very end, and yet, after that, when I met my mom friends, we only exchanged a few words, which was only just a greeting. With what they did to me, I didn't want to get involved anymore. And on the day of the entrance exam for the famous elementary school, I came face to face with that mom friend. Oh, Mariko, you're really taking the entrance exam, huh? What do you mean? Well, this elementary school looks at the status of the parents, you know. Your husband's just a regular employee, right? My husband is the head of the department. It's totally a different level of respectability. Besides, Mariko works part-time cleaning at a home improvement center, right? I don't know if it's a good status for a parent. Your child must have passed then. Oh no, don't say that yet. Right? They're just about to take the exam. Anyway, it's a tearful story that you really took the entrance exam under such an unfavorable circumstance. Kikoku, let's get going. Yeah, Mariko. Have a nice day then. The mom friends said whatever they wanted, but I held back because I wanted to focus on getting through the entrance exam. And on the day of the exam results, my daughter and I went to see the exam numbers as they were posted at the elementary school, and there were those moms again. Oh, Mariko, hi. Kikoku's face looked a little pale. She doesn't seem to be in her usual dashing mood. Kikoku, congratulations on passing. Oh, this is a famous elementary school, so it's very difficult to get in, I guess. Huh? Looks like we didn't get accepted this time. Your child couldn't pass either, right? I haven't looked at it yet, but, Ooh! Mom, there's my number. Really? Whoa! You're right! Yay! You did it! Great job! The mom friends who were watching us looked shocked. Why? How can a daughter of a regular employee and a part-time janitor get accepted? Isn't this some kind of mistake? About my husband, he's retired from his position as a regular employee and will soon become the managing director from that home improvement company. What? My father was the president of a home improvement company, and my husband became the next president as son-in-law. My husband will soon be appointed as the managing director, and as his wife, I thought I would like to know the current state of that home improvement center, which is why I started working part-time there. So you were the daughter of that big home improvement company. So it's not like you didn't have any money? Yes, I didn't mean to hide it, but... Anyway, congratulations. Kikoku said this and quickly left as if to flee. Kikoku, who always looked down on those around her in a pompous manner, seemed to think that she would naturally pass the exam as well. She told everyone around her that she was going to attend a famous elementary school next year. It seemed that it became difficult for her to participate in gatherings with her other mom friends, and after that, I never saw her again. A few months later, when my daughter settled in school, we went to visit a large facility a bit far from our hometown. There, I met Kikoku by chance. Marco! Oh, you were working at this pharmacy. Hello? When I said that, she ran away awkwardly, and I don't think my value decreases no matter where I work. I hope Kikoku would work with confidence and not judge people by her small values. Here's the story of me when my sister-in-law was a hero. From my sister-in-law's view, I was a married and younger sister-in-law, but she had always looked out for me. The other day, I went to the field day of my nephew who's in kindergarten, but for some reason, the mother-in-law who wasn't invited was there. That was incident 1. Wait, this person? I had heard that she wasn't a kind person, but she came without an invitation and ignored my greetings. And to top it off, she said to my husband and I, hi, I'm your daughter. Oh, you're my daughter's brother and wife? Uh-huh. She just kept looking us up and down. Honestly, worst first impression. My sister-in-law and her husband also told her to go home, but... You got this, grandchild! She ignored them and wouldn't listen. There were a lot of people around and we couldn't do anything, so we just held it in. We treated her like she wasn't even there. Grandchild! After the field day was over, we had plans to barbecue at my sister-in-law's house, so we dropped off our stuff and headed to her yard. It's been a while since I've barbecued. It must be nice, having such a big yard. Someone was already there and had started a fire in the grill. Wow, someone already got it ready. Looking back at my sister-in-law and her husband, they were a pale blue. What's going on? When I asked why, they were shocked.
Who did this?
They were trembling. Apparently, they hadn't invited anyone other than us to go to the barbecue, so... What? Then who did it? We were pretty panicked. Someone behind us was shocked. What? Why are you already home? The field day is until the afternoon, right? When we turned around, Reiko, the sister-in-law's husband's brother's wife, was there.
What are you doing in someone's yard?
My sister-in-law's husband asked her. I heard that you guys were going to be on a field day, so I figured the house was going to be empty. That's why I borrowed your yard and invited my friends to have a barbecue. She said, nonchalantly. What?
You're coming into someone's house and using their grill without their permission, he said, clearly shocked. We brought our own grill, but there happened to be a grill that wasn't being used in the shade with charcoal already in it, so we just used that instead. The grill was prepped beforehand by my sister-in-law so that we could immediately start our barbecue as soon as we got back. I was going to wash it and clean up before you guys got home so you don't have to be so angry. Gosh. More importantly, why the hell are you home so early? She actually started getting pissed. Then her friends that were buying things for the barbecue actually started coming back. What the hell is going on? You said that you got permission from them. You weren't going to barbecue at someone's house without their permission, were you? They were on our side. Surprisingly, the area quickly devolved into chaos. They started yelling at each other and throwing food and yelling. Are you serious?
Don't do this in our house!
They were both yelling at the random people to stop, but no one was listening. They had no idea what to do. Then the mother-in-law showed up randomly for some reason. She followed us, apparently. My sister-in-law was already pretty pissed off about the whole thing with the barbecue, but... Oh, come on! They all came to the barbecue! Why don't we all just barbecue? Yomiko is so stingy. She had to say something and the area was sent spiraling into further chaos. My sister-in-law opened her eyes wide and said, "Shut up! Shut your face! You weren't even invited and you have no right to invite anyone! Get the hell off my lawn!" She yelled at her mother and grabbed a smoldering piece of charcoal and smacked her across the hand with it. She seemed to be genuinely surprised by a pissed-off sister-in-law and... What's gotten into you? Come on, simmer down, dear. Sorry for calling you stingy. Suddenly, became more tame. You could tell that she was still furious but suddenly grinned. Oh, it's okay. Like you said, I'm so stingy. Unfortunately, I'm not going to prepare anything for you ever again. So please, go home now. Yes, and don't think you're invited to the next one. Or the next one. Why wouldn't I, right? I'm cheap. Until when? Never. Or until one of us drops dead. She just didn't give them a chance to say anything back. She chased off my mother-in-law. Don't say that. Come on. I won't say you're ugly or anything more. That's all? You're not going to call me ugly? Cheap? She tried to figure out what not to say and... Whoa, how you have a bad personality and stuff? Who told you what I said anyway? Yamada? Tamura? She once again blew up. You were saying these things to neighbors? I don't believe it! She was panicking. I promise I won't say anything. Please, just let it all go. She was desperate. I was feeling really bad for her. My sister-in-law must have been holding back so much. Okay, bye. Don't ever come again. She chased her out of the yard and locked the entrance. Yomiko! You could hear her voice from over the fence, but she ignored it and started walking back to the chaos. By the way, her husband was trying to get rid of his brother's wife, so he didn't even know what was going on over here. Reiko said, I've done nothing wrong. I didn't go into your house, so you shouldn't be bitching so much. To the husband, she was clearly still aggressive. Then my sister-in-law showed up and yelled, Enough! This is our property. You're not allowed to enter someone's property without their permission. Off the top of her lungs. Her friends, oh, I'm so sorry for this. I really didn't know that she had no permission. Please at least accept our food. We're all pretty apologetic and confused as well. It's okay, we don't need it. Go ahead and take it with you. She told them it was fine because it wasn't their fault. You could hear Reiko off to the side. What the hell are you talking about illegal? You're not even the police. Whining away. Her friends kept apologizing and... Damn it! You've embarrassed me! Dragged a complaining and upset Reiko out of the yard. Oh my god! Let's go! It was all pretty terrible, but the nice part was that the nephews were both completely out from field day. They didn't have to see any of it. They went inside to wait for the barbecue but passed out on the couch. Ew! Where's your house? I want to go hang out. Tell me. Come on. By the way, the mother-in-law and Reiko were both too crazy, so my sister-in-law moved about a year ago to a different city. She, of course, didn't tell them where she moved to. Yeah, later. However, they followed her back after the field day and were upset about the fact that their house was found out. She accidentally told them where their kids went to school.
Don't tell Mom and Reiko where our kids go to school.
Oh, whoops. My sister-in-law would complain. I wonder if they're gonna show up again. About them occasionally.
I'll chase them off. Don't worry.
But my sister-in-law was still a little worried.
I'm sorry for always causing you a headache because of my family. I'd be upset too.
He was trying to see how she felt. Then she said, I'm not upset. I was able to tell them everything I was thinking, so I felt a lot better actually.
What? Why'd you look upset then?
I was upset that I couldn't chuck the smoldering charcoal at Reiko. I couldn't help but laugh. She looked pretty empty for a little while after that, but hey, there's a really big sale at Tanabata department store. What? Okay, I want to go. I was also pretty happy about the fact that she made Reiko and my mother-in-law eat it.
My name is Shinya Nakamura. I'm just a regular, run-of-the-mill office worker. Recently I secured a deal, so as a treat, I got myself a present. It was a slightly expensive piece of steak. I was going to have some sukiyaki alone, quietly and peacefully. But then, suddenly, some kid, about kindergarten in age, stole the bag off my bicycle handle and ran out. However, he immediately tripped and fell over. My groceries went flying out and the brat started bawling. Apparently, the kid wanted to take my groceries. Huh? What are you doing, man? When I talked to him, he just started crying harder. I wasn't sure what to do, but I couldn't imagine a child like this to be doing this on his own. It had to be an adult pulling the strings, and lo and behold, the woman who seemed to be his mother showed up, clearly furious.
Hey, you! What the hell did you do to my child?
What? Your child stole my bag and then tripped on his own.
Stop bullshitting! He's injured.
You're kidding yourself. This insane mother was talking to me like I had just kicked her child. I turned around to see that the child had stopped crying. He found the switch that fell out of my bag and...
It's a switch! Yay!
Seemed happy. Hey, kid, that's mine. I took the game from him when some old lady and security guard came flying out.
What happened?
When I was about to explain, the insane mother said,
This man injured my son and then stole his game. What? What's wrong with you?
Hang on 1 second.
How dare you do that to a child? Shame on you. Seriously, security, detain that man.
Just come to the office for me. He calmly escorted us all to the back. Usually the mother screams bloody murder in situations like this, and then starts making insane demands. And then...
You! How dare you injure a child then steal his toy?
The first person to talk, the old lady who worked here, started saying something completely illogical. I was going to make her talk first before I make my case. Insane mom decided that was her chance.
Security. Miss, please hear me out. This person shoved my child, injured him, then stole his brand new toy from him. He needs to pay me for all damages. Let's call the police. This loser old man shouldn't be riding a fancy bicycle either. I'm sure that bicycle is stolen. This man definitely steals things. He's a criminal. I can see it in his eyes.
I've seen things like this happen in the news sometimes, or documentaries. I didn't think it would happen to me. And I was thinking it was about time that I retort. Just so you know, you keep talking, but you know that my bag was stolen. And then you went through it to steal my game. Sorry, your little brat over there did. I just took back what was mine.
Bullshit! Why the hell does an old man like you even have a Switch? And that bag is mine, and all the stuff that I bought.
Maybe she saw the meat in the bag? She started claiming that the bag and everything in it was hers as well. What? Are you seriously going to push that lie through? Are you seriously okay in the head?
Shut the hell up! As payment, you give up your bicycle.
I was honestly beyond pissed and just started to pity her. It was almost stupid to deal with this insane mother. I really can't believe that there are people as crazy as this. And then,
Let's call the police.
the employee even started treating me like I was guilty. I had enough and decided to go on the offensive. That game is mine. Flip the switch and I'll show you. There's a sticker on it with my name. I showed them my driver's license as well. Also, this bag. It's mine. See the name tag? I've always liked watching YouTube videos and seen stuff like this happen to people before. I really didn't expect it to happen, but just in case, I started putting my name on things that I own. I really didn't expect it to come in handy. More importantly, you've been treating me like some kind of criminal, huh? Are you even listening to this insane lady's story? It sounds crazy. The child isn't even hurt.
Huh? That's...
The quick-to-conclusion employee seemed to understand her mistake.
Sorry, sir. I just thought that you looked like a criminal compared to them.
All these people. Then, suddenly, the store owner showed up from behind. So, I'm so terribly sorry about this. He came in bowing and apologizing. He just kept bowing and apologizing, so I almost felt bad for him. And he gave me a bunch of coupons that I could use at the store. Didn't get any, but I was just glad that I was proven innocent. The insane mother must have thought this wasn't turning out like she wanted, so she was trying to sneak out of the office. The ambulance that was called by the lady employee showed up at the right time. The insane mother couldn't back out now, and they took the uninjured child to the hospital. The next night, the husband of the insane mother showed up with a bag of snacks, apologizing. Apparently, the store manager called the police, and the mother coughed it all up. The child was, of course, uninjured, apart from some minor scratches from when he fell over. The doctor seemed to pity the whole thing too. I'm so terribly sorry for me and mine. The husband seemed like a normal guy. I recorded all of what happened in the office and played it back for the husband. That little... Oh, how dare she? I'm so sorry. Oh, it's okay. I'm not going to deal with her anymore, so it's fine. But you should be worried about your wife. She's clearly using your son. What's going on with that? You two really need to talk about it. He sighed as I told him that, and he just walked out quietly. I got another call from him. Apparently they got a divorce. When I looked her up, apparently she's been doing that several times around here using her son. It wasn't technically a crime, but I was apparently the first time that security and police got involved with any of her shenanigans. The husband found out everything, and he got tired of her. My child didn't know about anything, so I'm going to try and teach him right from wrong going forward. I was just working and working, so I think this is my wake-up call to focus on being a parent as well. He told me everything. Of course, the husband had custody of the son. He works at a large company and is going to ask his parents for help raising the kid. That insane mother has dropped from her celebrity lifestyle to a poor one in a split second. I'm sure she's lost it by now. Serves her right. One day, my wife Yomiko got mad and left the house. It's her fault though. I was just tired of how selfish she was acting, so I just lost it. This isn't the first time she left the house. She doesn't seem to like admitting that she's wrong, ever, and started throwing temper tantrums and leaving the house. That's why every time she left, I just thought, here we go again, and left it alone. But then, some random woman I've never seen before showed up.
You're Tano, right?
Yeah?
I'm Yomiko's best friend, Ako.
Eiko said that, and said that Yomiko was at her house bawling, writing up a divorce paper. Apparently, Eiko was the one that spurred it on. I was so caught off guard that, do you even know why she left the house to begin with?
Of course. You said something terrible, right? I know she yelled at you.
She's the one that was in the wrong. She's a stay-at-home housewife, but she doesn't take care of the house and goes out all the time. She comes home late at night, and while she's out, you can't get in touch with her.
Housewives have stress too. You need to hold it in.
Okay, I can do that sometimes, but it's every day. I'm tired with work every day, but she goes out, plays, come home late without taking care of the house.
You're seriously such a small man. Men should do things around the house now too, you know. There's nothing weird about that.
I mean, I won't say that it's a woman's job, but Yomiko doesn't work. She can at least do the chores, right?
Oh my gosh! You're so annoying.
I mean, that's not even why I got mad. She stole my money from our savings account, and I kept telling her stop, but she wouldn't listen, so I told her to cut it out.
That's still not enough to get mad at her. You're a small man.
No. You realize that if you pull out too much money and you can't pay rent, you're screwed, right? And she's using that for leisure.
She's saying that she borrowed a little bit because she was struggling this month. You're married to her and you can't tell how she's feeling? You're the worst.
What? Am I the bad one here? And you realize she didn't just borrow a little, right? What exactly is she doing with an entire rent's worth of money? She just wouldn't let up, and is apparently pushing Eiko to sign the divorce papers now too. If Yomiko comes over again, she's going to take it herself, apparently. Take better care of her, huh? Yeah, kiss my ass. She wouldn't listen, so I just closed the door and asked her to leave. Yomiko came home the next day. According to Eiko, she was crying and bawling writing the papers, but there's no messy makeup and no signs that she was crying. If anything, she reeked of booze and was in a good mood. She showed the divorce papers to me condescendingly.
Look, if you don't want me to take these to the office, you better obey me.
She changed and ran out again. Of course, she didn't intend to give back the money she withdrew. I had completely detached from her. Afterwards, I thought that I'd really punish her and quietly got ready for the next few days. Of course, her behaviour escalated. She never did the chores, but she would come back when she got tired of playing and wanted to sleep. Every time she came back, she'd buy more clothes, more accessories. The place we lived in was a pretty good place, and I had a habit of leaving a pretty hefty amount of money, almost all of my bonus in my account, so I wouldn't forget to pay rent. Then she pulled that money out, so I'm sure she's got a lot of money, but that ends today.
If there isn't any money left in the account, I can't withdraw any, can I? Just borrow some money and hand it over.
Shut up. Why do I have to give you money so you can go play somewhere?
What? Are you sure you should be talking to me like that? I think I'm gonna put up the divorce papers in. Are you sure you want that?
If you can, then go for it.
What is that attitude? You must have ripped it up and thrown the papers out, huh? You idiot. I'll just go buy another one and write it up.
No, I already submitted the papers. They're not here.
What? What do you mean you already submitted them?
You stupid. The divorce papers. I signed them the day after you handed them to me and submitted them. I don't want to live with you anymore.
What? What's going on?
Just as she exclaimed that, the doorbell rang. When she answered the door, she was surprised at who was on the other side of the door.
Why are you here, Dad? Mom?
Not why. I heard everything from Teneo. You're still connected to Ao, huh?
Huh? How did you know that?
I made sure to investigate everything while I let you play. Then lo and behold, I see you coming out of Aiko's house with Ao. And I showed your parents the photo. Turns out they knew who it was. That Eiko girl also knew about everything and was helping you out, right? You don't remember how much you poured into him before? I was so glad to hear you got married to Teneo, because you'd be away from him, but you're still with him.
He just said he wanted to meet me.
He said he wanted to see you, so you went to a hotel. I know about that too.
That's...
You've been pulling money out for a while now, giving him money, right?
No, that was just for playing.
You really think that stupid excuse is gonna fly, you stupid child? I'm so sorry, Taneo. I know you guys got a divorce, but we'll be sure to repay you for everything. I'm so sorry. I know you took great care of my daughter. I'm so sorry.
Come on, Dad! Stop!
The father-in-law begged. The mother-in-law immediately slapped Yomiko flat across the face.
What are you saying? You're the reason your father is begging right now. You better understand what you've done. You're not related to Tano anymore, so you can't live here. We're going back to the countryside.
She heard her mother and realized that she had done something insane.
I'm sorry!
She started crying. I don't really care if you cry. I already submitted the papers, just as you wanted. I have no reason to take any care of you. Oh, and you and Ao will both be paying me for damages. She looked disappointed and continued to cry. Afterwards, she went back to the middle of nowhere to live with her parents. I, of course, looked up more info about Ao, so I sent a bunch of proof of the affair to his home and work. Apparently, he was already married and even started working at his wife's parents' company. That's why after the affair was found out, he lost his status, his work, and his marriage. We also added a lawyer to the mix, and I ended up suing Eiko for helping things along. She also worked at Ao's wife's company, and surprise, surprise, she also had a relationship with Ao. I also went ahead and sent the photos that I got from the PI office to Ao's house, and Eiko was sued by Ao's wife as well. Serves you right. I got my money in damages and moved out of my apartment before Yomiko ran away from her parents' house and stormed my house. Figures. About a half a year later, my ex-wife came back to my ex-house and started banging on the door. I live a nice life now, with no problems, but I am so glad to have moved without thinking twice. That was close.
My name is Eri. I married my husband, Shu, a year ago. Shu was cheerful and always took the lead on dates, so I felt safe when I was with him. On the other hand, I was shy and had a hard time expressing my thoughts to others, so I only think I was attracted to Shu because he had something I didn't have. I thought I would marry Shu and have a happy married life, but I was wrong. After a while of living together, Shu began to constantly complain about me, and I felt suffocated.
Why is your cooking so awful?
I'm sorry.
I work and earn money, and you can't even do the job of a housewife. I'd rather go out to eat than eat such bad food.
And on another day...
You can't even clean properly.
What? But I cleaned today.
See all that dust piled up? Are your eyes blind?
I'm sorry.
You can't even do the housework properly. What a mistake getting married to you.
It was a daily occurrence to be cussed like that. But I thought there was something wrong with me which made Shu, who was always so kind, angry, and I desperately wanted him to go back to how he used to be. Even if I argued, the abusive words just came back stronger. So I couldn't say anything back and just obeyed Shu. Then one day, my father passed away. He was a very kind and dependable father. I was suppressing my grief and making preparations for the funeral. When Shu came back, I told him that I wanted him to attend the ceremony, but I couldn't believe what I heard.
Why should I go? I can't go to the funeral, because I'm busy with work right now.
But the company has a bereavement policy, doesn't it? When your mother passed away, I used to take a leave of absence from work too, didn't I?
This is a critical time. I can't take a break. I don't have time for funerals.
Please, it's a family tragedy. Ask the company. I beg you. My husband seemed a little surprised since I usually don't insist strongly.
Fine, all right. Just have to take the day off, right?
Yes, thank you.
Shu took the day off from work, even though it seemed like a hassle for him. But when Shu attended the funeral, his attitude was even worse. On the day of the funeral, Shu was hungover, wobbling on his feet and reeked of alcohol.
Shoo, why did you drink that much last night?
Shut up. I'm here so it's fine, isn't it? Stop nagging.
He even complained to the staff at the funeral hall.
Hey, the air conditioning is bad. Make it warmer. So inconsiderate.
After that, he went to sleep as he snored, and when the funeral was over, he quickly went home alone. And I felt my relatives whispering to each other, looking at me. My brother and my sister were very concerned after they saw Shu's behavior.
Eri, isn't Shu's attitude terrible? You also seem to be somewhat reserved towards Shu. I'm worried about you. Are you okay?
Sis, you know if you have any problems, you can always tell me. Shu's a little crazy. Yeah, thanks. After hearing my brother and sister's kind words, tears welled up in my eyes and I felt sorry for worrying them. When I got home, Shu was relaxing again, drinking and watching TV. Shu, how can you behave like that at a funeral?
What are you talking about? I took time off work to go to your funeral. Why do I have to hear you complain when I'm the one who's supposed to be thanked?
No, it was my last goodbye to my father. Shu ignores me and watches TV and laughs like he's done talking about it. Enough! And give me back the watch my father gave me as a memento. You won't use it anymore. My father wanted you to have it, but I don't want you to have it. So, give it back.
Huh? Oh, I sold that.
What? What did you just say?
I mean, even though it's a memento, it's an old watch, and I didn't even like it. So what's the point in keeping it? I went to the pawn shop in front of the station and cashed it in.
Pawn shop? For cash? I can't believe it! I couldn't believe my ears. I can't believe he would do such a terrible thing to me. I was so angry I could feel my feelings for Shu going down.
It's a gift. What I do with it is up to me, isn't it?
How can you say that? It's my father's memento. Selling it without asking me is insane.
Don't be so angry. Let's get some good food with the money I got.
At that moment, my anger peaked to the max. And then I hit the desk as hard as I could, and Shu was startled. You've got to be kidding me! What the hell were you doing? Which pawn shop did you sell it to, huh?
What? The one in front of the station.
I'm asking the name. Hurry up and tell me.
Don't yell at me like that. It was called Oriental.
Oriental, huh? Alright. Speaking of which, you're quite the awful abusive husband. I was fooled by you. I've been doing the housework for you every day, and all you do is complain. And you sold my father's memento? You piece of shit! I don't want to see your face anymore. I'm divorcing you. I said that and went straight to the pawn shop in front of the station to get back my father's memento. I felt better because I was able to say everything that was bottled up in my heart about my marriage, and I wondered why I had been brainwashed by such a man. When I got all of my belongings and left the house, he probably thought I would come home sooner or later. My husband, who was underestimating me, kept calling over and over again, begging me to stay when he found out that I was not going to change my mind about the divorce.
Eri, my bad. I had no idea you were that stressed.
You didn't think I was stressed? How can I not be stressed after being verbally abused by you every day? You're an idiot! I married an abusive husband like you, and it was a big mistake.
No, Eri. I can't do this without you, please.
After I got fed up, I hung up the phone. Even after that, the text messages never stopped, and my intention to divorce never changed. Since my husband has a big ego, he couldn't stand the rumors in the company that he was divorced and his wife had run away from him. My in-laws contacted me to say that he had a mental breakdown and became a recluse. They repeatedly apologized and asked me to reconsider the divorce. After I explained to them about my ex-husband and his many abusive comments and told them that I've learned my lesson about living with a harasser, they seemed to have given up on the idea. And my husband? He kept refusing the divorce, and after so much wrangling, he ended up signing the divorce papers when I told him I would bring this to court. Of course, I received alimony and other compensation for the harassment, and I was free. I told my mother, brother, and sister, who had been worried about me since I decided to get a divorce. But they seemed deeply relieved. My family has supported me in so many ways since the divorce, and I can't thank them enough. My family says I'm much brighter and more energetic than I was when I was married. I'm now looking for a job so I can get back on my feet as soon as possible. From now on, I want to be free to live my life as I see fit.
Thank you for watching all the way to the end. What did you think of today's episode? Leave a comment and let me know your thoughts on today's story. And if you enjoyed it, don't forget to like and subscribe.